There are moments in life when the pain is too deep to explain, when the tears fall silently and no one around you even notices. You smile in front of people, but inside your heart is breaking. You feel alone, misunderstood, maybe even forgotten. But listen carefully. Every single tear you hid, every silent cry you made in the darkness of the night, Allah heard it all. Not one tear was wasted, not one moment of patience went unseen, and your reward is coming. Let me share with you 5 powerful truths you need to hold on to. There are moments in life when you feel completely invisible, like your pain does not matter to anyone. You go through your days carrying a weight in your chest, smiling on the outside while quietly breaking within. You cry, but only when no one is watching. You struggle, but you tell no one. In those moments, it is easy to believe that your pain is unnoticed, that your tears fall into emptiness without meaning, but this is where your understanding must shift, because nothing you feel has ever been ignored by Allah. Is every tear you hid, every silent sob you buried in your pillow, every moment your heart whispered words your lips could not say. Allah heard it all, not just heard it, but understood it completely. He knows the pain behind your silence, the story behind your sadness, and the reason your heart feels the way it does. Even when you could not put your emotions into words, Allah understood the language of your soul. Sometimes we think that only the loud prayers count, the ones we raise with our hands in the air and our voices trembling. But in reality, the quietest cries often carry the deepest sincerity. The tear that rolled down your cheek in the middle of the night, when you felt like you had no one left, that was a dua. That heaviness in your chest that made you pause and close your eyes, that was a conversation with Allah. And He never ignores those moments. Allah is not distant from your pain. He is closer to you than you can imagine. He sees what people don't see. People might misunderstand you, overlook you, or even dismiss your struggles, but Allah never does. When the world turns away from your pain, Allah turns towards it. He gives it attention, meaning, and purpose. And here is something powerful to hold on to. Your pain is not just being seen, it is being recorded with mercy and love. Nothing you go through is meaningless. Every hardship you endure, every time you choose patience over anger, every moment you resist breaking completely, these are all being written for you. They are not signs of weakness, but signs of strength in the sight of Allah. Sometimes you may wonder why you had to go through so much, why your heart had to feel this kind of heaviness, why your life seems more difficult than others, But what you don't see is that Allah is shaping you through these experiences. He is building a version of you that is stronger, more sincere, more connected to Him. Pain has a way of softening the heart, of bringing you closer to your Creator in ways comfort never could. And even when you feel like you are at your lowest, when your tears seem endless, remember this: Allah is not just watching your pain, He is responding to it in ways you cannot yet see. There are things being arranged for you behind the scenes. There is wisdom unfolding in your life, even if it doesn't make sense right now. So do not think your tears were wasted. Do not believe that your silent struggles were ignored. Every single moment mattered. Every single tear was known. And one day when you see how Allah replaces your pain with something better, you will understand that none of it was in vain. There are times when holding on feels harder than letting go, when everything inside you is telling you to give up, to walk away, to stop trying. The pressure builds, the pain lingers, and your heart feels tired from carrying so much for so long. In those moments, choosing to remain patient can feel like the heaviest burden of all. But what you may not realize is that this patience you are holding on to so tightly is not a sign of weakness. It is one of the strongest and most powerful forms of faith. Patience is not about pretending that everything is okay. Patience is not about pretending that everything is okay. It is not about suppressing your emotions or denying your pain. True patience is when your heart is hurting, yet you still choose to trust Allah. It is when you don't understand what is happening in your life, but you still believe there is a purpose behind it. It is when your du'as seem unanswered, yet you continue to raise your hands and ask again. That quiet resilience inside you, the decision to keep going despite everything, that is where your strength truly lies. Every moment you chose not to react in anger, every time you swallowed your pain instead of letting it turn into bitterness, every second you continued forward without losing your faith, those moments are incredibly valuable. Even if no one around you noticed, even if people misunderstood your silence or took your patience for granted, Allah saw it all. He saw the effort it took for you to remain calm when you could have broken down. He saw the strength it took for you to keep believing when Doubt try to take over your heart. What makes patience so powerful is that it transforms you from within. It teaches you self-control, deepens your connection with Allah, and strengthens your character in ways nothing else can. Through patience, your heart becomes more aware, more grounded, more sincere. It removes arrogance and replaces it with humility. It replaces desperation with trust. It reshapes the way you see your struggles, turning them from punishments into pathways of growth. You might feel like your patience is going unnoticed, like it's not changing anything around you. The reality is, it is changing everything within you. And sometimes that inner transformation is far more important than immediate external results. Allah is not just looking at what you are going through. He is looking at how you are responding to it. And every act of patience raises your rank in ways you cannot measure. It's also important to remember that patience does not mean your situation will stay the same forever. It does not mean you're destined to suffer endlessly. His patience is temporary, but its reward is permanent. There will come a time when the struggle eases, when the doors you thought would never open suddenly do, when the heaviness in your heart is replaced with peace. And when that moment comes, you will realize that your patience was not delaying your happiness, it was preparing you for it. Sometimes the delay is because what is coming is too big, too beautiful to arrive without the right preparation. And that preparation is happening within you through patience. You are being shaped into someone who can truly appreciate, handle, and sustain the blessings that are on their way. So when it feels hard to keep going, remind yourself that your patience is not empty. It is full of meaning, full of reward, and full of unseen impact. You are not standing still. You is re-rising, even if you cannot see it yet. And one day you will look back and understand that the strength you showed in those difficult moments was one of the greatest victories of your life. There are moments in life when things don't go the way you desperately wanted them to. You prayed for something with your whole heart, believed it would happen, imagined your life with it, and then suddenly it slipped away, a door closed, an opportunity disappeared. Is someone you cared about walked out of your life. And in that moment, it feels like loss. It feels like rejection. It feels like your duas were not answered. It is in these painful moments that your heart begins to question everything. You wonder why Allah allowed it to happen. You replay situations in your mind, thinking about what you could have done differently. You ask yourself why something that felt so right didn't work out. The silence after your prayers can feel heavy, almost like you've been left alone with your disappointment. But what you don't see, what you cannot yet understand, is that sometimes what feels like a loss is actually protection in its purest form. Allah sees what you cannot see. While you are focused on what you wanted, Allah sees what it would have brought into your life. What if that opportunity you were chasing carried stress, harm, or regret that you were not prepared for? What if that person you were attached to would have brought pain into your future that your heart could not tackle? What if that path you were so certain about would have taken you further away from peace, from growth, from the life you were meant to live? It's difficult to accept this in the moment because we are human. We become emotionally attached to outcomes. We build hopes and dreams around specific things. And when they don't happen, it feels like everything is falling apart. But the truth is, not everything that feels right is actually good for you, and not everything that leaves your life is a loss. Sometimes it is a rescue that you simply cannot recognize yet. Just think about the times in your past when something didn't work out, and later you realized it was for the best. At the time, it hurt. You didn't understand it. But with time, clarity came. You saw what you were saved from. You understood why it had to happen that way. The same applies to what you are going through now. Even if you can't see the wisdom yet, Allah's plan is not based on what you want in the moment. It is based on what is truly best for you in the long run. It is based on what is truly best for you in the long run. His knowledge is complete while yours is limited. You see a chapter, but he sees the entire story. So when something is delayed or taken away, it is not because you are forgotten or unworthy. It is because Allah in His mercy is redirecting you towards something better, something safer, something more aligned with your purpose. So sometimes what you are asking for is not wrong. It's just not the right time. And sometimes it is not meant for you at all, no matter how much you desire it. And that is where trust becomes essential. Trusting Allah does not mean you will always understand His decisions, but it means you believe there is goodness in them, even when they hurt. The delay, the closed doors, the unexpected endings, these are not signs that your life is falling apart. They are signs that something is being rearranged. There is a bigger picture unfolding, one that you cannot fully grasp yet. And one day when things begin to make sense, you look back at what you once cried over and realize it was never meant to stay in your life. So hold on to this truth. What misses you was never meant for you, and what is meant for you will never miss you. And in every delay, in every loss, there is a hidden mercy that will reveal itself when the tide. Me is right. There comes a point in life where everything feels like it's too much. The weight of your thoughts, your emotions, your struggles, it all gathers at once until you feel like you can't carry it anymore. You reach a moment where your heart feels exhausted, where even the smallest things feel overwhelming, and you quietly ask yourself, how much more can I take? It's in this fragile, heavy space that you feel closest to giving up. You might look at your situation and think this is the end of your strength, the end of your ability to keep going. It feels like you've been pushed beyond your limits, like there is nothing left inside you to hold on to. But what you don't realize in that moment is that this breaking point is not the end of your story. It is often the very place where a new chapter begins. When everything seems to fall apart, it creates space for something new to come together. Sometimes the life you were holding on to, the expectations you built, the plans you made, they need to break so that something better can take their place. It's painful because you're attached, because you care deeply, because you invested your heart into it. But that pain is not meaningless. It is part of a transformation that is happening within you. There is something powerful about reaching your lowest point. It strips away illusions, it removes the distractions and forces you to face your reality with honesty. In that vulnerability, your connection with Allah can become stronger than ever before. When you feel like you have no one else, you turn to Him with a sincerity that only pain can create. Your prayers become deeper, your qalbin becomes softer, and your reliance becomes more real. At your lowest, you are not abandoned. You are being drawn closer. Allah has a way of bringing His servants back to Him, and sometimes it happens through moments of difficulty. Not to break you, but to rebuild you in a way that is stronger, wiser, and more aligned with who you are meant to be. It's also important to understand that the feeling of I can't take this anymore does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. Even the strongest hearts reach a point of exhaustion. But strength is not about never feeling that way. It's about what you do after it. Is prayer. It's about continuing, even if it's slowly. It's about choosing not to give up, even when every part of you wants to. Right after the hardest moments, something begins to shift. It may not happen instantly, and it may not come in the way you expect, but change begins. Relief starts to find its way into your life, piece by piece. The heaviness starts to lift, the confusion begins to clear, and the pain that once felt unbearable becomes something you can understand and carry differently. Allah has promised that after hardship comes ease. This is not just a comforting phrase, it is a truth. But ease does not always come in the way we imagine. Sometimes it comes as inner peace before external change. Sometimes it comes as clarity before solutions. And sometimes it comes as strength before relief. So when you feel like you reached your limit, don't assume it's the end. Don't assume it's the end. You may be standing at the edge of something better than what you're leaving behind. Your breaking point may actually be your turning point, the moment where everything begins to shift in ways you couldn't have planned yourself. Is hold on a little longer, even if it's just one day at a time, because the same moment that made you feel like you were falling apart could be the very moment that sets everything into motion for your breakthrough. Life can sometimes feel unfair. You endure hardship after hardship, face disappointment after disappointment, and wonder if the pain will ever end. You might feel like you've given everything and yet received nothing in return. In those moments, it is easy to lose hope, to think that your struggles are meaningless and that nothing good will ever come from the tears you've shed. But there is a profound truth that needs to be held on to. Allah is the most just, the most generous, and the reward for your patience and endurance, and the reward for your patience and endurance will always exceed your pay. Every trial, every tear, every moment of silent suffering is being accounted for. Allah does not overlook even the smallest act of patience, even the quietest moment of endurance. When you cried in secret, when your heart ached and you could not express it, those moments were not wasted. Allah recorded them, and He is preparing a reward that you cannot yet imagine. The beauty of this reward is that it will not just replace what was lost, it will surpass it in ways you cannot anticipate. Sometimes we look for immediate relief, expecting that as soon as we suffer, the reward should appear. But Allah's wisdom is beyond our comprehension. The timing of blessings is part of His divine plan. What He gives will be perfect in quality and timing. It will not merely fill the space left by your pain. It will elevate you, transform you, and bring a level of peace and joy that you have never known before. The reward is not just about comfort. It is about fulfillment, growth, and the ultimate sense of purpose that makes every struggle worth enduring. You may have experienced losses that felt unbearable, broken relationships, failed opportunities, dreams that did not materialize. But Allah sees what we cannot. He knows the hidden consequences of what could have happened and the ways in which your life could have been affected and those situations gone differently. Sometimes what seems like a setback is actually a divine redirection towards something greater. Now your reward will not only compensate for your loss, but will exceed it, providing blessings that were hidden behind your trials. The promise of reward is not limited to material or visible gains. Often it comes in the form of inner peace, spiritual growth, and strength and faith. It comes in resilience, wisdom, and the ability to face future challenges with courage. Every hardship you endured becomes a building block for the person you are becoming. Every tear, every moment of despair, every difficulty, all of it is molding you into a stronger, wiser, and more patient soul. The reward is not simply an external gift. It is also the transformation of your heart and mind into something more capable of experiencing true joy and contentment. Remember that Allah is always just, is no act of patience, no effort to remain steadfast in the face of adversity will ever go unnoticed or unrewarded. The magnitude of your reward is far beyond what you can imagine, far greater than the pain you have endured. There will come a time when you look back at your struggles and realize that every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of sorrow was part of a divine design leading to your blessing. So hold on to hope. Keep trusting, keep praying, and keep believing. The difficulties you face are temporary, but the reward awaiting you is eternal. One day, you will find that the heaviness in your heart has been replaced with joy that is beyond measure, has been replaced with joy that is beyond measure. That the pain you endured has transformed into a strength you never knew you had, and that Allah's justice and generosity have manifested in a way that surpasses all understanding. Your reward is coming, and it will be greater than your pain.